Our council meeting, community board week. We're live streaming on Facebook and also on YouTube. No mai haere mai puki mai, ngā hapori to our community people who are here today. We'll start with our karakia. Hau hiri, hau rārama, hau o te whakaaro, hau o te arapa, te pau e hiri nei a tātou. Mauri ora ki a tātou, hau me e, hui e, tātou. We have only one apology this morning from Whāchiki Raukan. Are there any other apologies? We're all in the house? No. So we're going to move for those apologies. Then country. So we'll start with our public forum.
Just point of order, if we're going to have a move in a second, there should be vote.
Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. All in favour?
Right.
Aye. Still coming to terms with the formalities. Thank you for your reminder, Evans. We'll move on to our public forum. So I would like to ask Mr. Sean Riley, my clerk, would you like to come and speak?
Yes.
May, yeah.
I've got a thumb gig.
Absolutely. Have a seat.
I've got quite a nice list here for you to consider, and I've left a copy with you so that you refresh memories. At the moment, our town is lacking a great deal in normal maintenance. If you go around the town and see the rubbish in the gutters and see grass growing there, that didn't happen overnight. Something's got to be attended to there. It's a crying disgrace in our community that the roadsides all around the area, not just in town, are covered in litter, and it's all been, in main, thrown out the window. Something has got to be done. If you can catch somebody, Mrs. Sharp once got a hefty fine out of somebody because they dropped something outside my gate, identified it, she prosecuted and got away with it. And the news item that gathered around that did a little bit of good for a wee while. Mahi Park is something that I think that you should all get in behind. Willie Mahi's idea of a fighting park on top of the landfill is a feasible proposition, along with the modern Maori village at the bottom. What we can do is create something that brings the tourists from the boats when they come into Paihia over to Kaikohe for the day. Something that can keep them entertained for the day, can be easily devised, and Mahi Park, with the Pioneer Village right alongside, seems the logical way to go about it. On the way to Kirikiri through Old Bay Road, one-way bridge has to be built to a two-way bridge as soon as possible. That bridge is getting dangerous. And the little thing I've noted here, I've got the Hongi Street trees, is a neat little icon that we have in our town. It's the sort of thing that we can use to show up our community. Banking services in Kaikohe, almost non-existent. It's not good enough. This town is the centre of the district. I want to see our banking services reinstated to what is an acceptable standard. Somehow, Kaikohe seemed to have lost out on the amalgamation. We had a better system working under the old borough than we've got working now under MPDC. Too much is decided behind the back doors. Councillors, community board members aren't getting their responsibility and making the decisions that is their right, their responsibility. Example is the rats. I've made this complaint time and time again. That waste station down there was the cause of rats long ago and still is. Something has to be done about it. We were promised that when the dump closed here in Kaikohe, rubbish would no longer be part of that corner of town. We've still got rubbish and still got rats. The last thing I would like to see reinstated is our honours board on the wall out here. Every year there were 10 names to go up on that board. Last entry is 2017. There are a number of people in our district that do great things, and it is just but a small way of recognising the contribution that many people make to our district. Thank you for your attention and hopeful consideration.
Mahi Park, where is that?
Mahi Park, league field, down below the edge of the dump.
Oh, it's the part of Lindbart Park that they used to
Part of Lindbart Park. But
okay, no, yes, okay. I just didn't know that there was...
And strangely enough, that once was a dump, nearly 80, 90 years ago. And if it comes down to that, Mount Smart Stadium was built on a dump. So that the concept of Willie's palisade round the top, quite simple, and the village down below complements what we've got in the Pioneer Village, and we do then have something really unique to bring tourists from the boats to Kaikohe, little over the hill in its history.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion now that we ask the CEO or the staff to provide some kind of report on the history of the Honours Board and why it was stopped.
Happy to second that. I've had, just on that, by the way, Sean, we've had a number of requests to reinstate that Honours Board, not just from you.
I can put that request in. Thank you. So, I've got a mover and member Edmund, second is by Councillor Vessels. Any further discussions or comments on that? All in favour? Aye.
Thank you.
Carried.
And just in passing, that long grass down there by the way station, I've actually shown the CEO the problem, and it's still not done. It's part of the contract. Something like that should have been attended to rather quickly.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Riley.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you very much, Mr. Riley. We now have Mr. Bob Bryant.
Hi, I'm Bob Bryant. For those who don't know, I live down in the bottom of town by the cycle park. And the council have now decided we're going to let some clown from Kirikiri put 35 houses on 1.8 hectares of land. It's a sloping section, and the water's all going to run down onto the main road. Currently, every time it rains, that road goes half underwater. The reasoning behind it, nobody can tell me. I've got a bit of things here where they say that water's going to be run into council current stormwater drains. I've also got a letter at home from the council about 12, 14 years ago telling me to block all my stormwater drains because the current drainage system can't cope. Now you're planning to put more water in there. You put 30 odd houses on a hectare of land, it's virtually going to cover the entire ground area. There's going to be no soakage, no nothing. And again, whenever it rains, that road down by the little lay-by, you're probably aware of where I'm talking about. Floods, so much so that the picnic table in the lay-by goes underwater. That's this height. And that's every time it rains. I've got a photo somewhere here. The other day when we had that light shower in the morning, half the main road went underwater. I rang the council and they sent some clown down to clean the drain. He went along with a shovel and he shoveled the rubbish out of the drain up onto the grass verge and left it there. As soon as the guy mows, it's all going to go back into the drain. we're paying for these clowns to run around town and do this sort of carousel. Every time they mow the lawn there, big deep drain on the corner of Falls Road, the guy starts on the outside, mows his way to the middle. Consequently, all the good grass clippings go into the drain and block it. Council in their wisdom went and cut all the trees down there because they said the leaves were blocking the drain. Trees have been gone for 3 months. The drain still blocks solid with grass clippings. But we can't get through to them, nobody seems to want to know. Now to top it all off, we're going to put another 35 houses in the area and flood the crap out of it. Doesn't make any logical sense to me.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Can I just, in response to the information you provided through your deputation, there's a council meeting that will be on the 19th of October. The housing side of what you're discussing sits under the council, not the community board. So thank you for your comments, and I will open up for discussions and any questions you've got. But that's just one comment I wanted to say to you.
So, where are these houses going up, Bob?
There's a section behind my place.
Okay.
You know,
So it's off which road?
Off Russell Heights. The official address is 15 Russell Heights. So you're going to have at least, well, there's 30 odd sections. You're going to have at least 15 or 20 driveways going off Russell Heights. Mm-hmm. It's already a dead end road. There's not enough room up there now. And, it even says in here that the council are going to have to upgrade their stormwater system. Where it's going to go is beyond me, because I've spoken to the Maori landowners who own the land where they're supposedly going to drain it to, and they said there's no way on earth that's going to happen. So, well, it just doesn't make any logical bloody sense that it's got this far.
Member McVeigh?
Yeah, just to clarify, we're talking at the Tahiki end, the cycleway, that area? Yeah, so...
Where that cycle fence is?
Yeah, so, and I know the lay-by that floods regularly, so just in terms of that part, we're actually trying to get that flooding dealt. I hear your concerns around the housing development, and as Member Ferrier says, that probably sits at a high level of council, but in terms of the flooding of that area, that's one of our priorities, to try and push for that to be sorted out. But,
can we fence it off in the meantime? Stop these plans from doing wheelies when it rains?
is this when you're heading out of town, this is on the left-hand side where that lay-by is? That's where you're talking about?
Both sides.
Both sides.
Both sides of the road there. Thursday nights, the guy comes down and sets his skyrocket off to tell all the locals he's selling dope there.
Right.
So they know to go and get it, and they get stoned out of their heads and do wheelies everywhere.
Right, thank you, Mr. Bryan. Is there any other comments for Patai or Matua?
Yeah, well, Sean and I, how long ago, Sean, 5 years?
Pardon?
About 5 years ago, you and I went down and made a video of the flooding.
Yep.
And nothing ever happened. I mean, you're absolutely right, Bob. It doesn't seem to want to, you know, I mean, well, we seem to be ignored now.
That's why I would like to see the district council broken up back to its 6 communities again. Kaikohe was very good at looking after its own interests on its own.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. I'd like to invite up for the deputation, Desiree Harris and Maya Mary and Ma.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Desiree Whitihira tōku ingoa he uri hau o te māhurehure, no Waima. Ai te puake ai o te maru o ku pai maunga ko whakatere manawa kai aia, i te whenua o ku tūpuna, mai rāno, mai Ruewhati. Ko Ruewhati o tahi tūpuna o tōku hapu, o te māhurehure. Ai, I noho ana hau, I noho ana hau o ke whānau i te tupuna whenua i te Aute, Waima. Mai rā no ko tētahi whānau ahika o Waima, ka huri au i te reo Pākehā. So I'm here to express how changing the Peters Road, signed back to its initial name, which was Peters Road, rather than Pera Road, honours one of our important tupuna who was the son of the chief of Waima for Rāniara Wharero. So I've handed in historical documents from the New Zealand Archives and Te Kōti Whenua Māori of the process of the road naming being named Peters Road. And I've also handed in death certificates as well of my tupuna, just to show my ancestral whakapapa back to Rāniara Wharero, including the death certificate of my nana Adelaide Harris, who was the mama of my mother, Mary Diana Harris, here today. All of the historical documents show the name was Peters Road, not Pera Road, and shows Pera's Wharero as well on the Te Kōti Whenua Māori documents. So Pera is the nickname of my great-great-grandfather, Pera Hamarani Wharero. He was a leader of our community in Waima. He was also a tohunga of our hapu Ngāti Hurihanga. He was a very significant person within our community. He also aided a lot of the births of many wahine throughout the Hokianga, Irotu Te Ao Māori. We also have a monument dedicated to him as well at our marae Matitera in Waima, where he lived. So I was raised on Peters Road, and all of our whānau and hapu referred to the road as Peters Road while I was growing up. Peters Road that does hold cultural significance to our whānau as well. We own whenua along Peters Road, and a lot of that land belonged to my great-great-grandfather Āwhirahanga's descendants. There's still a few of us that live there today. I feel that reverting to the initial name is an act of preserving our heritage and acknowledging ancestral ties to the land. When outsiders are granted permission without broader support of the hapu and wharero whānau, it becomes culturally insensitive. Such decisions should be made collectively, respecting the many tupuna who are part of the road naming and the descendants of the tupuna who is named. Failing to do so perpetuates a history of colonisation and also the erasure of our Indigenous identity. Restoring the original name to its is a step towards reconciliation, strengthening the connection between the community and its roots, and fostering cultural sensitivity and respect. I see in the minutes of Rose Pera's application the mention of there being no Eastern Te Reo Māori. While that is a fact, our language Te Reo Māori was never a written language to begin with. So there was, of course there's no S, but it wasn't a written language in the sense that we see it today anyway. So this is about the cultural sensitivity of our hapu and our whānau. I do know that I don't personally know Rose Pera as well, so all of my time that I've been raised in Waima, I've never met her. And I do find it coincidental that her surname is Pera. I know she's not a wharero because we do know a lot of our whānau, we're one of the kaitiaki of a lot of our wharero whānau, cultural taonga as well as whakapapa for our hapu Waima, in Waima. So I do question her intention of renaming the road that I've been raised on after her surname. She collected, I also am aware that she collected signatures of only, I think there might have been 4 people. We have handed in petitions, so my mother actually was going around getting signatures of our hapu, our ahika that live in Waima, descendants of those who are a part of the tupuna who actually sat in the hapu hui of the naming of the road to become what it is, what it was known as, which was Peters Road. So my mother gathered 42 signatures, which I have here. I think we've handed in 37, but there's more here, the Makiha whānau. So I can leave that here for your council members. So along those, amongst the signatures, that there are many names of Te Māhurihuri represented there from the ahika of Waima that lived there today. Yeah, so that's what I've got to say at the moment.
Nā mihi ki a koe mō tō kōrero i te ata, tino a tāhua tō kōrero, tū ki te kōrero, tū ki te kaha. Tēnā koe. So we'll accept the petition that has just been handed. Added to previously. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, and I've also got a document here from Te Kōti Whenua Māori as well, of the tupuna who were part of the initial hui to have the name changed, to have the name, the road side, sorry, named Peters Road. So there's a representation of the of our tupuna of Waima, like many whānau members of Waima there, whose residents have signed this petition.
In your kōrero, you mentioned that you had handed an info already. Was it a copy or was it the original that you handed
It was
to?
the original that I received from the archives.
Okay. And where was it handed in?
Oh gosh, I think 2 years ago.
Oh, just when?
Years ago.
Years ago, was it? Not just recently? Okay. Thank you. As you're aware, this take is on our agenda for today. Thank you for bringing more information. Thank you for the time taken to gather your information, your kōrero tuku iho from your whānau tupuna. So, do we have any other tātai, any other questions or discussions for Desiree at this time? No?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm not quite sure how to phrase this, so you can, because I'm not culturally aware as much as I should be maybe. So what's the group? Is it a hapu that holds mana whenua over that area?
Five, yeah.
Okay, and so how big is this hapu?
Te Māhurihuri itself is huge, thousands, like around the world that is, but within the Hokianga, that petition that I've just given is a representative of the Hokianga that's been there since our first tupuna.
Okay, so if I mean, and I haven't brought it up, so I'll discuss it with the group, so it'll only be something I'll bring up at the motion. So if we merely pass the decision back to you to the hapu to make an official recommendation, is that something that can be done? I mean, are you an official delegation right now, or are you yourself bringing information? That's what I'm trying to say. If we ask for an official delegation to make a recommendation, would that be a thing that could be done?
Well, it was my assumption that that's what that petition was for. So
okay.
The original support that Rose Peter brought in was only 4 signatures. And those 4 signatures, when you look at it, is actually not a representation of the hapu anyway.
Yeah, but there is a hapu committee or something, isn't there? There's a hapu gathering that could make a hapu recommendation versus just a petition. Is that there?
And we can do that, yeah.
Okay, right, cool, thank you.
I just figured that because we've been doing this going.
No, I understand. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a way that we can have a decision made by you and accept it rather than us make the decision for you, if that makes sense. I know you can input into a decision, but if we kind of delegate the decision to the hapu.
Is that not the thing?
We'll discuss that, but thank you.
Thank you, Member Edmonds. So we had discussed this previously, and it was brought about by the table that we felt we needed more information, and we would have preferred the hapu to make the decision. And that's what this clearly is.
Yeah.
That's what this clearly is, your hapu whānau, hapu whānau, uri, support this change. So this, yes.
May I speak for Mary Diana Harris, I hope? Toko mama Adelaide Wharero, toko kanika Abrahama, Penikera Abrahama Wharero, and Abrahama Rangira Wharero is my great-grandfather. I have talked to aunties and uncles in the community about this, and it was a need, and it was put back on my family because I'm direct descendant. We are direct descendants to Aperahama Wharero, and that is why going around collating all those signatures is a help for this to go forward. We don't need other meetings with our hapu. It's been done. And we're here to just bring this to you. Please put the signage back. Have respect for my tupuna. I don't remember my great-grandfather, but I was brought up by my grandfather, Penikera Wharero. And I was told a lot of history, and we are the kaitiaki of the Wharero whānau. Ka tō. I'm not talking properly because we just buried one of my uncles, Pea Hoeta, and yesterday a cousin of mine, John Rogers, passed away. So, mamai. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, discussions? Nā maki kia kōrero. We'd like Alice Davis and Brady Paul.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Alice Davis tōku inga, ko au te kai whakarite o te kohanga reo Whirinaki.
Ko hele ko tōku ingoa, ko au te kaitautoko i aia, engari, anō hoki ko au te mana o te kohanga reo Whirinaki.
We're here today purely just to seek funding support to celebrate our 40th birthday. Hayley and I have only been part of Whirinaki kohanga for the past 12 years. So yesterday I met with our kaiako who would have loved to come today to speak, but because it's school holidays she's on moko duties. So I sat down and I asked her, why is it important that we celebrate our 40th birthday? And her very simple response was, it was a dream of the kaumātua kuia of all those years ago to have a kohanga reo in the Whirinaki Valley, which they did. They started up a kohanga and we have kept it going for the last 40 years. And she just purely said that we need to celebrate the hundreds of mokopuna that have come through our doors. 99% of those have gone on to kaupapa Māori kura, and she just said we need to celebrate our contribution to the revitalisation and the normalisation of Reo Māori. So our day is on the 13th of October 2023. We'll be celebrating 40 years of operation. We've invited kaumātua kuia, kaupapa Māori kura, past students, people in the community that contributed, purupura, which is the kohanga within our purupura. Everyone's invited, no mai haere mai. Why the formal formalities, history corridor, etc. is happening inside. We're having mokopuna activities outside, and that's what I'm here to ask for support for. So we've got everything happening, the trailblazers, merry-go-round and bouncy castles, the Carol's Crazy Critters with their animals, the Lions Club, Thomas the Tank Engine, face painting. It's a day to celebrate the tamariki, the mokopuna, and it's a day for them, followed by a hakari at Moria Marae. So no mai haere mai. Oh, we're catering and expecting around about 300 people. A lot of those will be.
Any questions, comments? Awesome kaupapa. Beautiful kaupapa. Raise amazing tamariki. So ngā mihi kia koutou. Ngā mihi.
Kia rātou I mahi a te mahi ai I moi a tātou. Te kaupapa nui kia hau ki te whakanui rātou. I mahi a te mahi e rā ngā haura I whakaure ki tēnā kaupapa tino nui. Ko te ngā hua, ngā tamariki, I kōrero te reo, ngā whānau I kōrero I ngānei, I itahi wā, I tērā wā ka hore rātou I kōrero. Ko mātou ngā hua I tēnā kaupapa, ka hore ahau I tuku ake I roto I tēnā kaupapa engari, ko te kohanga reo te driver, ko taku aroha mo te reo. Nō reira, ai, tēnā te take, tēnā te kaupapa nui, ki te whakanui te rātou angohoki.
Ngā mihi nui kia kaurua, ai a tāhua tēnei kaupapa. Mai mahara au te whakanui o tore tekau. Ai a tāhua te kaupapa. It will be a big event and it takes a lot to organise.
Well, we will be discussing your application later on our agenda, and some of Catherine will be in touch. You're welcome to sneak out, or you're more than welcome to stay.
Thank you.
Talk to you about it on Friday.
Craig Susu is online.
Frank Susu is a funny.
Tēnā koe, my name is Craig Silsil from SMC Events. We are the event management company that deliver Weet-Bix Triathlon and more recently Weet-Bix Tri-Challenge in schools on behalf of Sanitarium. I've just wanted to speak to my application. I just want to talk quickly about what Tri-Challenge in schools is, and then also about the experience that we had this year at Kaikohe Christian School. Then take any questions that the board might have. So yeah, the Tri-Challenge in schools was developed out of COVID really. So the model before that was that we had triathlons around the country, and we had one on Waitangi Treaty Grounds up north. And during COVID, we were kind of challenged to rethink how we might deliver events to smaller groups. And what became apparent is that when we came up with this model of Tri-Challenge in schools, which is essentially working with Sport Northland and their healthy active learning leads, working with them to identify what communities might want to have a Tri-Challenge, and then getting other contributing schools to come along, it became a lot more accessible. So whereas our old model was triathlon at Waitangi and then asking everyone to come to us, and, then trying to find ways to address the entry fee that triathlon has. The Tri Challenge in Schools model has allowed us to go to a host school, put the event on for free for the schools that participate, have up to 600 students attend the event, and they all get their t-shirt and medal and all the touch points that are loved with triathlon, but it's a lot more accessible because it's whole of class, whole of school, whole of kura, and we can cater up to 600 people per day. So the event itself is an obstacle-based activity. I think in the application there were some pictures, but a lot of obstacle courses, basically getting the kids out there to be active, enjoying doing it their own way, whether they're just getting a bit of feedback on myself, but whether they're going out and just trying to do 1 or 2 laps themselves, competing against their mates to try to win, or setting a goal and doing as many laps as they can, finding a way in which they can actually do it themselves and enjoy and hopefully take away a positive experience from physical activity, and therefore be more inclined to do it going forward. So just quickly on this last event, we came up in April up north. All 3 of the local boards supported us previously, which was fantastic. When we came to the Kaikohe region, we worked with, we were lucky enough to work with Komene at Healthy Active Learning, who also was involved with the schools, but we had Kaikohe Christian School as our host school, and we had 7 other schools contributing or coming along on the day. We also had the involvement of the local fire service for water slide, along with all the obstacles that we brought. And on the day, we had 573 kids participate, which is pretty much bang on. Of the 3 up north, I think Kaikohe was probably the one where we were bang on where we wanted to be in terms of contributing schools, the numbers we were getting through, and the level of experience. So there's improvements to be made. One of those is definitely identifying an MC that's proficient in te reo to go alongside our own MCs that keep the day running. But we've had great feedback from the schools, great feedback from the Healthy Active Learning leads at Sport Northland, and we're really keen to come back up and deliver another successful event towards the end of this summer. So thank you for your patience in listening, and I'd just like to answer any questions that the board might have about Tri Challenge in Schools. Oh, I think you might be on mute, guys. Sorry, guys, I can't hear anything.
Right, can you next one?
I heard someone for a second there, but I've still got you guys showing as being on mute. Yeah, still got you guys as showing as being on mute. Guys, the icon's showing that it's still muted for the community board.
Kia ora, Craig. Sorry about that. I'm not too sure what's happening with the muting system in our council chambers.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Thomasy.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get our comms team to sort that out. I know that we've got a new staff member who's just learning the ropes of our live streaming issues, but I guess that if you have any further kōrero to add, then you're most welcome to either throw it in the chat or send it through via email. But just beyond that, I'd just like to thank you for your time, and thank you very much as well for your service to our tamariki and the whānau. Well done.
Sorry, excuse everybody, there's going to be feedback. Craig, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, yes.
Apologies, Councillor Rakina. Thank you for your comments. Through the chair, Member Edmonds has a question.
So in this funding application, you have $15,000 for the cost of the project. You're asking to buy from this community board. Is that $15,000 for the event in our community? or is it a final for me?
I think I'll repeat the question back because I got a bit of feedback, member. But just I think you were saying that we have indicated that the full budget for the event is $15,000. We're requesting $5,000, and is the $15,000 applicable to your event in Kaikohe? Is that correct? Oh, yeah. I still can't hear you. You've gone back on mute, Marlema. Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're back.
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, no, I can speak to that. So yes, it is. So as per the budget, when you look at the costs of, it's not just the liaison time and planning the event, but it's obviously the physical costs of getting everything up there and delivering it. And then I think in the budget, speaking to the budget off the top of my head, there's almost a per unit cost of providing t-shirts and medals, which are some of the touch points that give the kids that wow factor of being involved in something bigger. So those touch points that we know from Weet-Bix Triathlon that get kids excited. And those costs also contribute to that 15 grand. So that 15 grand is applicable to the Kaikohe event. And the 5K from the local board, the balance is made up from sanitarium, and we are fortunate enough to have a couple of other sponsors on boards. And with this model, we don't ask for any contribution from the attending students or schools. So it's a free program to the schools themselves.
Thank you.
Member McVeigh?
Will you be looking at the Hokianga schools hosted?
I got a lot of feedback on that one, but I think it's asking, was it asking what schools were involved last year or what will be involved this year, member?
Will Hokianga schools host in the future for this funding?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because what we have actually done is we have really relied strongly on our regional sports partners. So, and up north, that's Sport Northland, and they have that, I'm sure many of you will be aware, they've got healthy active learning leads that are in the schools, both in Hokianga and Kaikohe and throughout the Northland. We rely on them to pick our host schools and get our contributing schools, but certainly the intent is to make sure that it's accessible to as many in the community that want the program. So I can't give you I can't even actually, to be honest, give you a definitive around who the host school would be because we need to work with Sport Northland on that. But the intent is to spread it wide and far and have as many involved as possible.
Any other questions? Thank you, Craig. Someone will be in touch.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.